So before we start again, let us view this video from the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics. So this webinar is brought to you by the Institute of Pediatrics Learning Academy. Watch out for this logo for our future webinars. Now I have my coffee and I'm ready for our conversation. To start our webinar, allow me to introduce our two speakers for today. Our first speaker is a consultant staff at the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics, Philippine Children's Medical Center, and Makati Medical Center. She is a member of the Philippine Society for Pediatric Gastroenterology, Hepatology, and Nutrition, and Asian Pan-Pacific Society for Pediatric Gastroenterology, Hepatology, and Nutrition. She is also an adjunct faculty at the Ateneo School of Medicine and Public Health. Let me welcome Dr. Karen Mercado. Good morning, Dr. Karen.
Good morning, Doc Kathy. I'm happy to be here with you at Coffee and Conversations and with all our delegates to talk about something very exciting and close to our hearts to help the children we take care of. Happy to be here.
Yan, thank you, Doc Karen. Where are you having your coffee from this morning?
Down the road from Medical City. So maski malayo-layo, magkalapit tayo ngayon lahat sa Zoom at sa Facebook.
Ayan, parang we're both from Pasig area, mga mutya ng Pasig. Okay, now let me introduce our second speaker. So she's a consultant staff at the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics, St. Luke's Medical Center, UPPGH, Makati Medical Center, Mary Mediatrix Medical Center, Manila Med Hospital, and Del Mundo Medical Center. She is also a faculty of the Medical Nutrition Fellowship Training Program at the Medical City, a guest faculty at the Ateneo School of Medicine and Public Health. She's also an academic committee member of the Medical Nutrition Fellowship Training Program at St. Luke's Medical Center, Quezon City, and a member of the Philippine Society for Parenteral and Enteral Nutrition, American Society for Parenteral and Enteral Nutrition, and European Society for Clinical Nutrition and Metabolism. So let us all welcome Dr. Rina Reyes. Good morning, Dr. Rina.
Oh, good morning. Kumusta kayo?
Okay naman po. Yan. So, Dr. Rina, may kape ka rin ba dyan?
Meron akong kape, mainit-init pa.
Wow. So, where are you having your coffee from naman, Dr. Rina?
Malayo-layo sa inyo ng konti. Sa San Juan naman ako.
Ayan, sige lang. Malapit pa
Mm.
rin naman tayo. Magkakadikit yung screens natin dito sa Zoom. Oh,
True, true. So it's my turn naman, Doc Cathy, to introduce you. So I am very honored to introduce to you our moderator, Dr. Catherine Opida de Leon. She's a consultant staff of the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics and Pasig Doctors Medical Center. She is an international board certified lactation consultant and lactation educator and a member of the Philippine Pediatric Society Committee on Breastfeeding. So thank you, Doc Cathy, for moderating this morning's activity.
thank you, Dr. Rina. It's my pleasure to moderate today's activity kasi napaka-exciting. But before we start, I want to greet our audience again. Naputol kanina. Pero I see na parang ang dami natin from ibang So we have from Ilocos Norte, we have from Bulacan Medical Center Pediatrics, and meron tayong from Tacloban, Doc, right?
Parang
So,
iba-ibang lugar, no? So welcome. Actually,
um,
Cebuana ako. So sa mga Bisaya, maayong buntag sa inyong tanan. And welcome.
ako naman from
Welcome po
Manila,
all.
pero pwedeng mag-Ilonggo. So mayong aga sa inyong nga tanan. Ilonggo. Ikaw, Doc Karen, meron ka bang probinsya na pwedeng i-shout out?
Ako po True Blue Tagalog. So welcome po sa lahat. We're happy you're here with us. And we're happy we're together maski malayo-layo ang mga pinanggalingan natin.
Ayan. So meron tayong may nag-shout out sa atin, si Ma'am Janine, maayong buntag. Bisaya yan, Dok, no?
Oo.
Okay, marhay na aga. Baka meron sa inyong mga taga Bicol dyan. Ayan. So, I think ready na tayong pag-umpisahan ang ating discussion for today. Yan, habang nagpe-prepare po, magandang umaga ulit sa Facebook Live natin at Zoom. Good morning. Yan, naayos lang po natin yung slides. Good morning to our participants again. Ayan. Okay, so we can now start with our conversation this morning. So tanong ko lang po, Doc Karen at Doc Rina, sino kaya sa atin ang medyo napasarap ng kain nung Christmas at New Year? Ako alam ko talagang masarap. Kayo, Doc Karen, Doc Rina.
Ako super. As in, walang day yata na walang nag-invite. So parang breakfast, lunch, dinner, parang kailangan i-timing yung mga invitation sa atin. How about you, Doc Karen?
Same. Nasundan pa syempre ng Chinese New Year pati Valentine's Day. So
Oh,
I think usapan ngayon Lenten fasting naman.
Oo nga po. So, tayong mga adults, parang hirap tayo mag-lose ng weight. Pero balita ko din, parang mas mahirap ata magplano or mag-lose ng weight ang ating mga anak at kabataan. So, paano po ba natin sila matutulungan, Doc Karen?
So, we're here today para nga matulungan natin ang ating mga overweight children at mga mahal nating kailangan mag-lose weight dahil nasabihan ng pediatrician na nako, may risk po tayo kasi ang health ng mga bata dapat nakasalalay sa proper weight. Kasi hindi lang po underweight ang malnourished, ang overweight at obesity ay tinatawag ng form of malnutrition, and globally it's driven by unhealthy and highly processed foods combined by a lack of physical activity and sedentary behavior. In fact, in a local survey by our Food and Nutrition Research Institute, even Filipino children follow this global trend. Ang marami na sa Filipino children ang konti ang kinakain na prutas at vegetable at mas marami ang sugar, salty and fatty foods taken. 3 out of 4 Filipino children aged 13 to 15 eat less than 3 portions of vegetables per day. Masyado pong marami ang hindi na kumakain ng gulay at prutas. And more than 1/3 drink at least 1 soft drink per day. So malnutrition in is overnutrition, no? And overweight globally in under 5 amounts to 40 million. Ganun po kadami. Milyon na bata po ang overweight under 5. And 5 to 19 years old, more than 340 million of these are actually overweight. Growth is most rapid in low and middle income countries. So mas malaking problema po sa atin kasi bagong problema po siya. Mas maraming tumataba sa mga low and middle income countries like the Philippines. So malnutrition in the form of obesity and overweight among Filipinos is about the same, no? Marami pong bata age 5 to 10 years old, about 14% in 2022 are overweight. What does that mean? Ibig sabihin 1 in every 8 children you meet are gonna be overweight, no? So napakadami po. Pati po sa adolescents, 13% in 2022. And you can see it has been rising in the past few years from 10%, nagiging 14% na. Ano pa po kaya ngayong 2024? Kaya magkakasama po tayo ngayon, no, para pag-usapan ito at pigilan ang overweight and obesity dahil meron po siyang consequences sa health ng ating mga minamahal. So for children who are overweight or obese, there can be breathing problems or yung tinatawag na obstructive sleep apnea syndrome. Ang ating mga nagsusnore na matatabang chikiting ay actually namomroblema tayo kasi may epekto po ito sa puso pag sila ay nagsusnore from obesity, no? So there can also be joint pains, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or type 2 diabetes. So these are serious conditions normally you hear of among adults pero na-diagnose na po to sa mga bata in relation to overweight or obesity. May iba pang issues kagaya ng weight-related teasing or bullying, and there's a higher risk of developing mental health problems like low self-esteem, depression, and eating disorders. Kaya po kailangan talagang pag-usapan itong overweight and obesity. Pwera pa po dito, pag sila ay tumanda, maski nag-lose weight na sila, pag sila ay adult, pero dahil po sa kanilang prolonged overweight during childhood, meron po silang dehadong adulthood in terms of their health. Conditions that disadvantage children who are obese include lifetime risk of cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. So may vicious cycle po, no? Pag healthy child, healthy adult. Pag obese or overweight child, it can lead to an obese adult or a risk of obesity-related diseases that are lifelong. Pwera dito, meron po tayong hidden hunger na tinatawag. Ibig sabihin, there is a need for one of or more of 26 micronutrients essential to proper body function. Akala natin it is only affecting those who are malnourished. Akala natin ang obese child, bawal bigyan ng vitamins, baka lalong tumaba. Pero meron pala pong hidden hunger, pati ang ating obese and overweight children. They are lacking in several micronutrients. And these micronutrients or nutritional deficiencies from these micronutrients will impact growth, development, and the risk of chronic non-communicable diseases in adulthood. So, Doc Cathy, Doc Rina, di ba napaka-importante talaga nitong topic na pinag-uusapan natin ngayong umaga?
I agree, Doc Karen. So ang tanong ko nga po ngayon ay, ano po ba ang magandang method sa weight management?
So actually, meron tayong magandang kasagutan dyan, Doc Cathy and Doc Karen, no? So this morning, meron tayong isang healthy message na gustong iparating sa lahat ng ating mga attendees kung saan ay gagamit tayo ng 5 strategies na ang tawag ay 5210 plus 9 campaign. So ang campaign na to was initially launched in the US in response to the growing concerns on health na dulot ng overnutrition. So bawat number na nakikita natin ngayon sa screen represents one strategy para matulungan tayo magkaroon ng healthy weight at magandang overall health. So pag-usapan na natin ang unang strategy, no, which is number 5. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin nito? So number 5 refers to consumption of 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables per day. And according to various studies, pag tinaasan daw natin ang intake of fruits and vegetables, gaganda ang ating kalusugan. And at the same time, bababa ang risk of certain non-communicable diseases kagaya ng diabetes, sakit sa puso, and even cancer. So ang susunod natin na slide will show us a list of vegetables na pwede nating pagpilian. So as you can see, it is divided into 2 groups. So my group A and group B. The group A vegetable consists of the fresh vegetable. So whether it is cooked or raw, 1 serving po is half a cup. And then yung group B naman po are the processed vegetables. So here naman, iba-iba po ang serving sizes. So as you can see, ang tomato juice po, 1 serving is only 1/4 cup. And then for green peas naman, 1 serving is 1 tablespoon. So akalain mo, sa isang kutsara lamang ng green peas, may isang serving ka na ng vegetable. So actually, pwede po i-mix and match, and then we can target at least 3 servings of vegetables. And by doing so, we have already achieved more than half of our goals for the first strategy. So before we proceed, isingit ko muna tong visual hand guide to food portion sizes to make things easier. Hindi na kailangan magtimbang, hindi na kailangan magsukat. So the front of our fist is equivalent to half a cup. And then yung clenched fist natin is equivalent to 1 cup. And then yung rectangle na nakikita natin ngayon sa palad natin on the screen is equivalent to 3 to 4 ounces. And then our thumb is more or less 2 tablespoons. And the tip of our finger, yung index finger natin, is more or less 1 teaspoon. So let's move on. So for the fruits naman, kagaya po ng vegetables, divided din to into groups. So meron tayong fresh fruits, fresh fruit juices, meron din pong processed fruits. And again, iba-iba din ang serving sizes. So for example, ang mangga, ang isang serving po nito is 1 slice. So yung isang pisngi. And then for grapes naman, 1 serving is 5 pieces of grapes. And then fresh fruit juice naman po is a good source of fruit intake, especially po sa mga batang medyo mahirap pakainin ng fruits. Although it is important to remember na we need to limit the intake per recommendation of these fruit juices to 4 to 6 ounces per day. Kasi po may inherent content na glucose or sugar po, fructose pala na sugar ang fruits that pag nag-overconsume tayo nito, may lead to overnutrition. So, let's follow the first strategy. So, let's consume 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables per day. Okay, so aside from the quantity, variety is also very important to achieve quality. Kasi nga po, there is no single fruit or vegetable that will provide lahat ng nutrients na kailangan ng katawan natin para maging healthy. So ang goals natin actually is to achieve or to provide to our children the proper nutrition. So when we speak of proper nutrition, it actually refers to provision of the appropriate amounts and the right balance of nutritional ingredients. So, ibig sabihin, sapat ang quantity, sapat din ang quality. So, paano natin susundin ito? So, meron po tayong tinatawag na pinggang Pinoy, or kung gusto natin maging sosyal, pwede nating tawaging healthy plate that will serve as guide on how our meal should look like. So, essentially, ang pinggang Pinoy po sa isang 9-inch diameter plate, so hindi po platito, hindi din bandehado, sapat lamang. So in a 9-inch diameter plate, it is recommended that half of our plate should consist of our glow foods. So nandito po yung fruits and vegetables natin. And then 1/4 of our plate should consist of our go foods. So ito po yung carbohydrates. And then 1/4 should be our grow foods. So ito po yung protein provisions. And then part of the meal should be our milk, para sa mga bata. And then food diversity is very important, as well as the timing of feeding for chrononutrition. So this is just an example of how our meal should look like, yung various meals in a day. So sa next slide natin, ipapakita naman natin the other components of food. No? So carbohydrates are also divided into groups depending on the level of protein content. So akalain nyo yung kanin na kinakain natin, whether it is white or brown, may konting protein content din pala siya. And then for the proteins naman po, divided din po siya into groups depending on the fat content. So low, medium, and high fat, no? So contrary to our notion na pag sinabi natin pork, ay nako, maraming fats yan. So actually, hindi po totoo yon. It really depends upon the part or the cut of the meat. So ang pork tenderloin is categorically low in fat. And then ang chicken egg and quail eggs, as well as some variants of fish, are considered to be medium fat protein sources. And then for the fats naman po, divided din po ito into different groups, no, depending on the biochemical structures. And then I just want to talk about ano po, no, yung sugar naman kasi medyo ito ang kailangan nating pag-usapan kasi overconsumption can lead to health issues like obesity, heart disease, and other problems, no? So I just want to mention that 1 serving of sugar is equivalent to 1 teaspoon or 5 grams, and that it is recommended to reduce our sugar intake to less than 10% of our total caloric intake per day. And to enjoy more health benefits, mas maganda po if we further decrease our intake of sugar to less than 5%. Sodium naman po is also very important, no, na kailangan bantayan. And the recommended nutrient intake level ranges between 120 to 500 milligrams per day, depending on the age. And studies have shown na kapag mataas po ang intake natin ng sodium, associated po siya with increased blood pressure that will subsequently also increase the risk for other illnesses or health problems. And therefore, it is recommended na i-limit natin ang intake, no, of our sodium to 2,000 to less than 2,000 milligrams per day. So our next slide naman po will show us the various sources of sodium. So makikita po natin paano ba natin ita-translate into food, no? So ang asin or yung salt natin, 1/4 teaspoon of iodized salt contains 500 milligrams of sodium. So hindi lang po asin ang may sodium, ang ketchup meron din po, as well as other food ingredients kagaya ng mga artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and stabilizers of ice cream. That's why it is very important na nagbabasa po tayo ng food labels. So why is it important for us to read food labels? So mahalaga po ito para we can be informed and make the best and healthiest decisions para sa kung anong kakainin natin as well as kung anong ibibigay natin sa ating family. So ang mga food labels po na ito, requirement po ito ng FDA, no, sa lahat ng food and beverages na dapat nakapublish. Okay? So let's go through, no? Paano ba magbasa ng food labels? So ito po yung anatomy of the food labels. So the first 2 components ng food labels include the serving size and calories. So ang serving size po is considered parang tells us how much is considered a single serving, no, of the product. And this is important because it is tied up to the number of calories. So kung ilang number po of servings ang nakakain natin, we have to multiply that to the number of calories that is published. And then the next naman po are yung fats, no? Fat content. So, iba-iba pong klaseng fats as shown earlier, and ang recommendation is not to exceed 20 grams of saturated fats as it can increase yung bad cholesterol natin, no? Pero hindi din po pwedeng wala tayong fat intake kasi po magre-result din po yon to essential fatty acid deficiency. And then the next po is sodium. Napag-usapan na natin to. So not more than 2,000 milligrams of sodium per day. And then the next po is total carbohydrate content. So hindi lang po sugar ang carbohydrates, no? Fiber is also a type of carbohydrate that is beneficial to our health. So it can help manage our blood sugar and at the same time may also lower our cholesterol levels. So ang fiber intake natin, ang recommended po na intake ranges between 6 grams to 25 grams per day, depende po sa age. And ang hack po dito, no, is kung ano man ang age ng anak natin, we simply add 10 and that will be the recommended fiber intake in grams per day. So ang next slide naman po tells us about yung protein, no? So protein is one of the macronutrients. So isa po to sa mahalagang macronutrients because proteins is what builds our muscles and helps us or helps our children with their bone growth and development. And then vitamins and other micronutrients. So titingnan din natin kung anong content sa mga kinakain natin as it plays very important roles sa health natin. And then ang last po are the ingredients. So ito yung fine prints na dapat binabasa kasi dito po nakasulat yung mga food preservatives, food coloring kasi kung medyo mataas po, hindi po yun healthy for our body, no? Okay, so let's move on. So Doc Cathy, I will need your help here. Medyo mag-ano tayo para mag-review lang about reading the food label.
Okay, Doc.
Sige, so for this bread, no? So ano ba ang serving size nito?
Okay, based dito sa picture nakalagay, serving size, 2 slices.
Yeah, very good. So 2 slices and then the total calories per serving is
153.
correct. So for every 2 slices, magpo-provide ng 153 calories. So what if isang slice lang ang kakainin natin?
Kung isang slice lang, Doc, i-divide natin yung calories. So, magiging 76.5 na lang kung isang slice lang kakainin ko.
Yes, agree. So, yun yung sinabi natin earlier, no? So, the serving size is tied up to the number of calories. So, we either divide or multiply depending on kung gaano karaming nakain natin. So, let's move on, no, to our next example. So, ito naman po ay yogurt, no? Nakikita natin, marami siguro sa ating kumakain nito. So, total fats and cholesterol. So, ilan ba ang total fats nito?
So, for the fats, Doc, 5 grams and then cholesterol, 25 grams.
25 grams. Yeah. So, as mentioned earlier, kailangan din natin ng fat sa katawan natin, no? Kasi it plays important roles din, no? For our health. Ngayon, ang binabantayan lang natin dito are the saturated fats and the trans fats. So for the saturated fats, wag lang lalagpas ng 20 grams. So itong isang serving ng yogurt na to is only 3.6 grams. So pasok na pasok pa, no? So pwede pa nating pwede itong kainin. And then for the sodium naman po, ilan po ang isang serving?
It says in the label 100 milligrams.
100 milligrams. So very good, no? So ang minention natin a while ago, we want to limit our sodium intake to to maintain our blood pressure. So kailangan natin i-limit to less than 2,000 milligrams. So bago natin marating yon, kailangan makadalawampung kain muna tayo ng yogurt na to. So actually malaki ang leeway natin. And then for our last example naman, is itong soft drink na to. So one small bottle of this soft drink contains how much carbohydrates?
55.
55 grams. So as mentioned earlier, ang sugar, no? Ang one serving of sugar is equivalent to 1 teaspoon or 5 grams. So kung iisipin natin, total sugar is 55 grams. So if we translate this to the number of teaspoons or servings of sugar, actually this is actually equivalent to 11 teaspoons of sugar. So napakadami. Hindi tayo magtataka kung bakit medyo merong nagiging overweight, no? Pag medyo malakas uminom ng soft drinks.
And to think, Doc, maliit lang to na bote. Di ba usually sanay tayo sa regular size. Naku, ang dami pala.
Yes, Doc Cathy. And then as you can see, proteins and vitamins, zero din siya. Wala siyang ibang nutrients except for sugar.
Ayun. So kaya importante pala talaga, Doc Karen, na mabusisi tayo sa food labels, no? Hindi lang calories yung tinitingnan. Titingnan din natin yung nutritional values yung nandun sa food labels.
Yes, agree. So that's it po for our first strategy, which is number 5, Doc Cathy.
Yan. So, Doc Karen, can you now walk us through the second strategy po?
Yes, of course, Doc Cathy. So, ang dami nating natutunan kay Doc Rina, our nutrition specialist, no? So, we'll proceed to the second strategy. Number 2 refers to the amount of screen time or recreational time with gadgets. Bakit natin kailangan pag-usapan to? Kasi it is discovered that there is higher risk of obesity related to screen time. Studies have shown that kids who spend a lot of time watching TV or kids who have a television in their bedrooms are at higher risk for obesity. As you can imagine, lumang study to kasi ngayon di na TV pinag-uusapan, no? At least ang TV nakakabit sa wall. Ngayon, the children can have the screen wherever they're seated. So experts recommend limiting how much time children spend watching TV, playing video games, using smartphones or other devices. Only if they're doing their schoolwork do you allow them. But if it's not related to schoolwork, the screen time should be limited to just 1 to 2 hours per day. Kaya siya yung number 2 sa ating strategy, no? So the screen time recommended for kids actually has other details. For example, pag under 2 years of age, there should be actually zero screen time, Doc Cathy, except when the screen is used for video chatting or socialization with family or friends. Paano naman pag older, the 2 to 5-year-old child? Pwede na ba silang mag-isa? Pwede na bang mas marami? The recommendations currently say that it should be no more than 1 hour per day as co-viewing with a parent or sibling. So hindi pala talaga maganda sa development ng children, including sa healthy weight ng children, ang iniiwan sila with a gadget, especially when they're below 5 years of age, no? Kapag 5 to 17 years of age, pwede na silang maging independent. But still, as parents, we should talk about limits and be the authority on the limits. It should generally be no more than 2 hours per day for recreational screen time, except for homework, of course. So very clear recommendations, evidence-based to protect our children's growth, development, and healthy weight. So for screen time, a set screen time limit for each person in your household should be talked about. Hindi pala po hinahayaan lamang at pinupulis paminsan-minsan or pag nahuhuli natin. The American Academy of Pediatrics suggests that parents and other caregivers of children ages 5 and older work with the parents and a healthcare professional to create a family media use plan. So added role to for pediatricians to sit with the families and create a family media use plan na lahat ay agreeable, taking into account the limits set by the experts. So these are typical limits, no, that we can talk about, that we can write in our family screen time plan. Turn off television and other media kapag hindi ginagamit. Hindi natin gustong may background noise tayo sa screen. We can also turn off all entertainment while your child is doing homework and keep bedrooms and meal times screen-free for everyone in your household, including parents, no? I'm sure may parents na karamihan sa atin guilty na dinadala ang cellphone sa dining table. So we shouldn't eat while watching TV or using other screens. So these are examples of what we can write in our family plan. We also want to remember that the blue light in screens impact our child's sleeping, no? So the melatonin, which makes us feel sleepy, normally it's a normal hormone. This melatonin is a hormone that decreases, no, in amount when there's screen light exposure or blue light exposure. Kaya maganda pong naka-off to 1 to 2 hours before your child's sleeping time. So now let's proceed to the third number in our 5210+9 strategy, and one pertains to 1 hour or more of physical activity. So physical activity is important. This table shows us the AAP or American Academy of Pediatrics recommendations in 2020 per age group. So for infants, meron na rin silang activity na required. Pero tummy time lamang, no? So it's something we want to remember that throughout the day, a total of 60 minutes tummy time will promote our children's muscle growth, no, their core muscle strength and their development. So for 3 to 5 years of age, longer physical activity is recommended. Again, in divided time, so 3 hours total in a day, or 15 minutes every time the child is awake. But the recommendation is any physical activity involving movement and happy play for your toddler 3 to 5 years of age. Now, for the 6 years and older, it's now more specific, 60 minutes on most days of the week, and the activity should be moderate to vigorous physical activity or moderate intensity aerobic activity. Ano ba po ang ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin nito, your child 6 years and older is working hard enough to raise his or her heart rate and to break a sweat. Kaya pa niyang magsalita pero hindi na niya kayang kumanta kasi lumalalim na ang paghinga niya. So, how many of our kids are doing this for 60 minutes on most days? No, so it's nice to keep this in mind and to think about ways that we can help our children spend their days to allow for this recommended physical activity. So these are examples of ways that we can ensure that physical activity is enjoyed by children. So for the infants, it's easy, tummy time. For the toddlers, allowing them to walk, no, in the neighborhood or just run, play freely outside. For preschoolers and elementary students, you can see that their development is getting better. Kaya na nila ng ibang tricks, no? Marunong na mag-tumbling, mag-throwing and catching of the balls. Pagdating ng elementary, marunong na sila mag-organized play and sports focused on fun with some rules, no? Lalo na ang ating middle schoolers and teenagers, no? We can encourage them to really participate or specialize in one sport. And this is also a fun way for them to socialize, to learn about rules and healthy competition to be good sports, no? So Doc Cathy, 'di ba napaka-importante to? I'm sure it's also a challenge for parents coming from the pandemic and the lockdowns. Do you have any ideas on how it can be incorporated on day-to-day life?
Doc, actually parang mas magandang example kung kasama yung family at hindi lang, yung bata yung nag-exercise para mas masaya. So eto meron tayong mga examples. Example, badminton, pwedeng family activity yon. Hindi nyo kailangan pumunta sa isang badminton na court. Pwede kayong mag-set up lang nung ganitong parang net in your backyard or kahit sa ang open space. Kung ang mga kids naman natin mahilig sumayaw, enroll natin sila sa parang mga dance class kasi na-enhance din yung kanilang social skills. At nung pandemic nga, Dok, ma-share ko lang, ito po yung anak ko, nung pandemic, in-enroll ko sa gymnastics, sa bahay lang, kasi syempre pandemic, talagang online lahat. So, kayang-kaya pong gawin yon. We can just be creative sa mga anak natin. Hanapin natin yung gusto nila and then support natin for the physical activities.
Oo nga, no? Many ways and whatever is enjoyed by all.
Opo. Now, ang tanong ko ngayon, Doc Karen, pagkatapos nung physical activity na na-mention nyo, ano po ba yung recommended na inumin sa mga bata? Not just sa pag-physical activity, but in general. Ano po yung magandang inumin for them?
Magandang tanong nga yan, Doc Rina. What do you think?
Hello again. So actually there are various sources no for hydration. So napag-usapan na natin kanina yung soft drink, talagang erase na 'yon no kasi puro sugar. Pero maraming uso diyan na naririnig natin yung mga sports drink, energy drink, kaya lang itong mga beverages na to kasi contains caffeine or maybe high in sugar kaya hindi din siya recommended no on a daily basis. So talagang water pa rin, which brings us to our next strategy, which is zero. So zero refers to zero intake of sugar sweetened beverages, more of water. So we have mentioned a while ago, now we need to limit our intake of sugar to less than 10% and actually for even more health benefits to further reduce our sugar intake to less than 5%. So talagang water ang pinaka-best for hydration. And then we'll now move on to our last strategy, which is number 9. So ang number 9 naman po refers to 9 hours or more of sleep per night. So sleep po is very important kasi it increases our energy, physical health, it boosts our immune system, as well as it improves our memory. So ang next slide po shows us the recommended sleep hours, no, by age, as recommended po ng American Academy of Pediatrics. So it comes in a range, no, and this includes the nap times. Although it is actually the nighttime sleep ang sinasabi nilang best, no, na dapat quality. So yung range po na ito, mas maganda if we stick to it, hindi less, hindi din more. Ang reason for this, kasi may mga side effects din. Kasi kapag kulang tayo sa tulog, as shown on our next slide, magkakaroon tayo ng problems, no, with attention, behavior, and learning problems. Kapag nasobrahan naman tayo sa tulog, it may result to obesity, diabetes, and mental health problems. So kaya kailangan natin sapat lang talaga na sleep, and by doing that, maganda if we practice the sleep hygiene, no? So dapat maganda ang mag-create tayo ng bedtime routine, and that we have to have a regular sleep and waking time, no, whether bakasyon man or weekends. And then we need to keep our room comfortable as possible then, no? So dark din ang room. Tapos na-mention ni Doc Karen a while ago na yung blue light, no, has an effect sa atin, sa melatonin. So dapat naka-switch off na ang devices at least 1 hour before the bedtime. And then no stimulants na actually after lunch, be it beverage or food. And then exercise within the day is important, meditation as well. And then i-avoid na yung medyo heavy meals, no, close to bedtime. Actually, it is recommended na dapat ang last meal natin more or less 2 hours before our target bedtime. So that's it, no? So yan ang healthy message natin na gustong iparating sa lahat ng ating mga attendees. So 5210 plus 9 campaign, mukhang hindi naman kahirapan. So pwede na nating umpisahan ngayon.
Tama, ang galing, Doc Karen, no? So yan ang number natin, 5210 plus 9. So ngayong alam na natin yung information, we've been given the right information, paano naman natin mamomotivate yung ating mga mommies, mga parents, Doc Karen?
Yeah, so we have the information, but sometimes as pediatricians we experience this, no, na it can be a sad thing kasi kaya naman rin tumaba ang mga pasyente natin kasi sa pagmamahal, 'di ba? Food is our love language. So to talk about food and weight loss is a sad thing. Sometimes it can be scary kasi may nagtatantrums din ng mga bata, 'di ba? Or it can be frustrating because even when you believe in starting a new thing, a new approach, hindi mahirap to get everybody together to agree or to be consistent. In short, it can really be stressful. Gusto man ng mga magulang o tayong mga pediatricians na maging successful sa weight loss management, we really also are worried, sad, scared, frustrated, or we feel it can be a stressful thing. So we want to talk about how to make it less stressful, how to make it sexy and stress-free, no? So meron naman po tayong maipapasa sa inyo based on the evidence out there. So first of all, we remember that weight loss takes time. So we have to embrace the journey, and we remember that during this journey, mahaba po siyang journey, a restrictive approach is not good because it has been proven to show that it leads to rebound weight gain. So ano bang restrictive approach? Yung para tayong police, no? Na bawal yan, bawal yan. So what's the approach? What's the stress-free and sexy approach kung ang restrictive approach ay bawal? So we present to you two concepts. The first is authoritative parenting. The second is division of responsibility in feeding. So what is authoritative parenting? So it is one of the 4 major types of parenting. Usually, ang Filipinos ay authoritarian or permissive or a combination of both. Studies suggest that authoritative parenting style may help children adopt healthy behaviors that support healthy weight, and it is a type of parenting that combines setting rules and limits with warmth. That's why healthy weight during feeding is observed, no? So these are the four types: authoritarian, permissive, typical Filipino. Nagmamahal naman pong mga magulang ang authoritarian and permissive parents. Pero magandang malaman na merong third style, which is authoritative parenting, wherein we remember that children need support, understanding, and encouragement from caring parents, not no fear or worry. And we remember that feelings about themselves are often based on how we as parents think about them and how other caregivers feel about them. So in the house, if we shift towards authoritative parenting, then we can build a home wherein children understand authority and rules, and at the same time, they feel comfortable seeking support from their caregivers. So this is really a decision for us parents to shift to this different parenting style. We tell our children that they are loved, special, and important. And these are authoritative parenting tips that we can take on. Number one, listen to your child's concerns. So be ready to listen rather than lecture. Encourage healthy behavior. So we talk about the good, but we be quiet about the bad, no? More, not that we be quiet, but we encourage the healthy behaviors more than predict the bad behaviors. We want to set limits for less healthy choices. We want to keep less healthy options out of our home, making it easier to choose healthy foods and beverages. We help our child set goals for physical activity and healthy eating, and we track their progress, no? So we talk about progress, hindi lang yung paminsan-minsan pinag-uusapan. Gusto natin meron din tayong tracking and discussion that is ongoing. We reward your child's successes with praise and love, and last but not least, we share information about these lifestyle choices with other caregivers, such as babysitters, grandparents, so that everybody can help the child adopt the new behaviors. So that last point, I think, is quite important, and it's better if everybody is in agreement about the new approach. We remember that authoritative parenting is about parents changing their behavior. It's not about the parents demanding that the children change. We change and the children follow. No? So it makes it stress-free because we can control ourselves, but it's not, there's no pressure to control children to change. No? They definitely will follow. So the second treatment strategy or approach is Satter's division of responsibility in feeding toddlers through adolescence. So we feed our children the same way using this division of responsibility, wherein we draw the line between our job as parents and the children's job during feeding. It means that we are responsible for what, when, and where to feed, and the child is responsible for how much and whether. A big change in our thinking because normally tayo yung boss ng how much, no? Pinupolice natin sila kung gaano karami dapat nilang ubusin at kung anong dapat nilang kainin. Dapat kainin mo to, mabuti sa'yo to. Mali pala. We have to make them feel stress-free during meal times by respecting their decision on how much and whether, because their appetite regulation is intact. So what does that mean? We feel stress-free in just ticking the boxes of what to offer on the table, when we offer the food on the table, and where. We need to be the authorities on this. We need to be confident in being the boss of what, when, and where, because our children are not equipped to decide what is a healthy, well-balanced meal, no? Ngayon, confident na tayo, no? Dahil nanggaling tayo sa lecture ni Dr. Arena kanina. So we know now what a healthy and well-balanced meal is. Our children don't know when the food should be on the table and how to prepare it on time. So we should be the boss of that, preparing 3 meals plus 1 to 2 snacks. We want to deviate from the habit of offering snacks in between meals. Dapat may water only in between during the 3 to 5 hour fasting, no? So that's a behavior we should change when we're the boss of when, feeding a lot of snacks in between. We also want to be the boss of where. It should be at the dining table with the family, no gadgets. So ideally, we have to be eating all together at the dining table with no distraction so the children learn to feel when they are hungry, and to stop when they are full. No, so these three are the jobs for the parent, while the child should be the boss of how much and whether. Why? Because God made it so that their appetite regulation is intact. No, the hormones will come into play. Pag gutom, kakain, pag busog, titigil. And we have to respect each individual's taste, preference, and we remember that it can evolve so long as we're the boss of what and we keep offering diverse proper nutrition like Dr. Rina lectured earlier. What does it mean to think that appetite regulation is intact in us and in our children? It means that there are signals that come into play to make you feel full. For instance, the protein in your meal triggers fullness hormones and decreases the hunger hormones. Apart from that, there are receptors in our stomach that triggers fullness. Pag lumobo ang tiyan, nafe-feel na natin sa brain natin na, ay, busog na ako. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Just prepare proper nutrition, just like Dr. Rina mentioned, with carbohydrates, proteins, and vegetables, and that is enough to make your child lose weight. For example, looking at these two pictures, if you don't offer a well-balanced meal with variety, pandesal lang, walang protina, mas makakarami siyang kinain na pandesal bago makaramdam ng kabusugan. That's why, like Doc Rina said, there has to be protein, not just all carbohydrates when you offer the meal. More so, if you skip out on the fruits and vegetables, mas hindi pa sila mabubusog ng maaga. Why? Because the stomach mechanoreceptors need to be triggered to feel fullness. So you're looking now at a picture of various plates containing 200 calories worth of food. So if you ask yourself, which of the 200 calories will distend the stomach and trigger fullness? De malamang yung mga gulay at prutas, no? At hindi yung slice of butter or yung maliit na pirasong cookie o yung maliit na pirasong chocolate bar, no? So this is how we can trust our children to decide how much, no? If we do our job being the boss of what, offering healthy nutrition, then that healthy division of responsibility will allow them to lose weight, no? So but we also remember that the appetite regulation of children is intact until it is no longer intact kasi pwede pong mag-cross over to unhealthy obesity and metabolic syndrome in which there is already hormonal imbalance. So maganda pong magpa-check up sa pediatrician nyo para malaman, okay pa ba po ang appetite regulation ng anak ko o kailangan na ba pong pag-usapan ang medication para po makaramdam na sila ng kabusugan, because when hormonal imbalance sets in, then it's hard for them to feel full also at a certain point, no? But the good news is any abnormality is always reversible with weight loss. So our strategies that we discussed today is very helpful to reverse any abnormal blood test, no, and any hormonal imbalance. So based on our 52109 lecture plus these two strategies to make it stress-free and sexy, authoritative parenting and division of responsibility, we expect weight loss. So long as we remember that it's a journey that needs to be consistent, stress-free, and happy.
Ayan, wow, napakaraming information, very enriching conversation with our experts. Ang dami kong natutunan. Imagine with just 5 numbers, parang nag-multiply sila sa dami ng natutunan natin. So, now it's time for our Q&A. So, I encourage po yung mga viewers natin on Zoom, participants natin on Zoom, you can type in your questions po sa chat box. And those who are viewing us on Facebook, you can type your questions po sa comment section para masagot ng ating experts today. I'm sure madami kayong katanungan on practical ways to apply itong 52109. So, Doc Karen and Doc Rina, uumpisahan ko muna habang nagta-type yung mga viewers natin. About sleep, meron po akong tanong about sleep. Minsan kasi sa clinic, pag tinatanong ko yung magulang, ilang oras po yung tulog ng anak nyo? Ang sagot naman sa akin nila, 9, 10 hours. Pero pag tinanong ko po, anong oras po natutulog? Eh yun pala, Dok, natulog ng 12 midnight, tas gumising ng 10 a.m. Is it still healthy? Kasi pasok naman siya sa 9, pero 12 midnight natulog. Paano po ba yun, Dok?
Maybe I'll take this question. No? So sleep is quite important. At least naka 9 hours sila. Pero kailangan rin nating tandaan na meron tinatawag na 24-hour cycle yung ating growth hormone secretion sa mga bata lalo no na susceptible to growing tall from the growth hormone surges. Tayo kasi hindi na tayo tatangkad pero yung mga bata, importante yan na sila makinabang sa growth hormone surges. And napag-aralan na there's a 24-hour cycle to that, yung tinatawag na circadian rhythm, in which the peak or the more growth hormone is secreted during early evening. No? So
Okay.
sumusunod din talaga tayo sa rhythm ng araw at ng moon. No? So maganda na 9 hours pero meron ding value na ina-adjust natin to the normal circadian rhythm of the body. 'Di ba melatonin also is something that is impacted by the sun in the evening. So those things are important for for us. So magandang i-address din yung timing.
Ayun. So, ayan, mga mommies natin, daddies ha, importante po na maaga pa rin. So, wag lang yung tip yung 9 hours, wag lang yun yung i-fulfill natin. Meron tayong tanong from Ma'am Veronica regarding stunted. Okay po ba ang itlog ng manok at itlog ng pugo at ilang piraso po? So, maybe Doc Rina, you can
I'll
answer
take
the
that.
question.
Sige. So actually, ang egg is a protein source, no? So it should be part of the meal. Um, ah, ang one serving ng chicken egg is isang piraso ng egg. And then one serving naman of quail eggs is mga 7 pieces. So actually, it depends kung ano ang age at saka weight ng bata. So again, we want to practice proper nutrition. So kailangan balanse. Hindi pwedeng puro itlog lang. Kailangan din ng carbohydrates, kailangan din ng fruits and vegetables. So pwede naman po maging part ng meal ang chicken egg or quail eggs.
Thank you, Doc Karen. Oh, masarap yung quail egg.
Doc Cathy, I'd like to add, tama sabi ni Doc Rina na variety, hindi siya isang pagkain ng magso-solve ng stunting. Gusto rin nating ipaalala na ang stunting or yung hindi pagtangkad ng tama, may chances pa tayo na mag-catch up kasi nga ang mga children, meron yang growth hormone surges or growth spurts during infancy, during early childhood, tapos lalo na pag puberty. So gusto po natin na dun sa mga panahon na yun natatangkad sila, makinabang sila dahil tama ang nutrition. Hindi lang yun, tama ang tulog, pati exercises. Kasi po ang pagtalon-talon, ang moderate exercises also stimulates bone growth through growth hormone. Hindi lang po sleep ang nakaka-stimulate ng growth hormone secretion, pati po ang pagtalon-talon ng ating mga anak. So hindi lang po pagkain, tulog, pati exercise. Importante para i-reverse ang stunting or i-solve ang stunting.
Nakulangan yata ako sa pagtalundok no bata.
Tayo.
Ayan, meron pa tayong isang tanong from Ma'am Relly Ann. So, sabi niya, thank you for this informative learning session and I just want to inquire regarding picky eater kids who dislikes fruits and vegetables. How do we deal with it? Is it okay to recommend multivitamins at this point while introducing new foods for this type of kids? And then thank you daw and for the congrats, sabi ni Ma'am Relly Ann. So, anyone po sa
Take
inyo?
that question, Doc Rina.
Sige.
So for picky eating, ano siya, importante yung yung division of responsibility na diniscuss natin, malaking tulong yon. So the confidence of the parent to rely on herself for what, when, where. Tapos maski picky ang anak, hayaan mo siyang maging boss of how much and whether. Part of division of responsibility is boss ka ng when. Ibig sabihin, wag mong pakakainin during the fasting phases. Talagang sensible po tayo magpakain. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, recess, at saka merienda. Sapat na po iyon. Part din ng responsibility natin, confident boss tayo ng what. Hindi po tayo ninenervyos na, nako, boss na lang ng what ang anak ko kasi hindi siya kakain. Siya na lang kung anong gusto niya. Yun yung ibibigay ko. So, the third is, let's be patient. Be confident and be patient. When you're confident that in time, matututo ang anak nyo dahil nga paulit-ulit nyong ginagawa ang being boss of what, when, where, then you will really see it, the difference. Kasi ang picky eater po, nare-reverse po yan, pero hindi po bukas. No? It takes time with your consistent, confident feeding.
Ayan. Pero paano daw po multivitamins? Okay lang ba i-introduce while you're, introducing mga bagong foods? Okay lang daw po ba?
Doc Rina, you want to answer that question?
I think kung talagang medyo kulang talagang intake ng fruits and vegetables, then at least sa nutrient intake value level, no, na recommendation by FNRI, we can supplement muna while introducing itong fruits and vegetables. Pero corollary to what Doc Karen said, no, so we just really need to be patient kasi nga ever so gradually and slowly, these kids will also learn eventually, no, to eat the foods that the parents will eat. Kaya mahalaga i-model. And then, ano po, no, we just also need to monitor then the growth of the child. Kasi baka mamaya, hindi lang picky eating na ang problem, no? Baka problem feeder na rin yung bata.
Okay, thank you, Doc Rina and Doc Karen. Meron pa tayong tanong po from Jay Baltazar. With the available oral nutrition supplement preparations in the market, safe daw po ba ito to give to patients with G6PD or ADHD? Anyone po sa inyo to answer?
I'll take that na lang. Ano ulit yung question? Sorry, hindi ko na.
With the available oral nutritional supplement preparations daw po, are they safe to give to patients with G6PD or ADHD?
Actually, it's safe in the sense na lahat ng nutritional intervention should be individualized. So, iba-ibang klaseng oral nutritional supplement ang available. So, it depends upon the need or kung ano man ang requirement ng bata. So, if ever milk lang naman talaga ang kailangan ng bata, kasi we have to remember that these oral nutritional supplements are nutrient-dense formulas. And ibig sabihin, it is equivalent to medical grade food. Ibig sabihin, kung yun lang ang kakainin, it can sustain life. So, hindi siya equivalent to milk, no? So, binibigay natin to for a particular indication. So, it is safe as long as it is given by a doctor, no? Prescribed siya.
Opo, okay. So I think ang message dito is you need to work closely with your doctor or nutritionist for these cases. Now, meron pa tayong tanong from Ma'am Jeline. Good morning, doctors. How do we deal with toddlers who always spits out the food being offered to them? Yung nagsisip-sip lang ng food. Paano po ba natin i-deal yung mga ganong kaso?
Doc Cathy, Doc Rina, usually, pag nagsisip-sip ang mga toddlers, nagsisip out, we want to ask ourselves the question, bakit niya ginagawa yon? So, the obvious answer is, ayaw na niya. So, we go back again to division of responsibility. Let's be confident in allowing our children to be the boss of how much. Ibig sabihin nun, tayo ay responsive parents, watching out for the cues of our children and responding to them. Pag ang cue nila ayaw na nila, edi ibig sabihin kaya natin confidently to say, tapos ka na, o sige, pack up. Anyway, you're the boss of when, handa kayo sa susunod na mealtime with another healthy, well-balanced food to offer. Then we will repeat this, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the week, stress-free, worry-free, kumain ng anak natin ng inyong hinandang pagkain. Siya ang boss ng how much and whether. So usually, pocketing, yung parang hamster, no? Chinuchu, iniiwan dito, sinispit out, sign po, ang pag i-review nyo, ba't nangyari yun? Kasi po, mahaba ang kainan, hindi natapos, maski yung bata, nag-signal na nabusog na siya, na ayaw na niya. Kasi nga, kadalasan, we Filipino parents are the bosses of how much, no? Dala ng pagmamahal, gusto nating pagtiyagaan isang oras at ubusin yung pagkain because we feel we should be the boss of how much. So I think that's the best approach to that, no? Division of responsibility. And it is the stress-free and sexy way to approaching that.
Thank you, Doc Karen. So, basahin ko lang yung comment ni Ma'am Christine sa Zoom. Very good learning session and congratulations. Thank you po, Ma'am Christine. And I move over to Facebook muna kasi meron tayong isang tanong doon from Miss Eileen, I think. Doc, may GDD po anak ko, 4 years old, obese na siya. Mahilig sa processed kaya lagi ko sinasabayan ng scrambled egg with spinach or cauliflower at carrots yung food niya. Okay lang po ba yun?
I want to commend mommy for making sure meron siyang healthy food, no? Cauliflower, carrots, spinach, tapos egg is a healthy source of ano. So, she also mentioned obese. So, tamang-tama nandito kayo today. So, we remember, I think that again, division of responsibility, be the boss of when to feed your child. Wag po nating kakalimutan na tayo ang boss ng what and when. Minsan po tumataba dahil we feed them very frequently. Kapag pumunta po kayo sa clinic namin ni Doc Rina, Doc Cathy, at ginawa natin yung 24-hour food recall, nagkakagulatan po na, ay, ang dami pala niyang kinain sa 24-hour period. So, let's begin with the simple basics, which is being the boss of what, when, where. Dapat may fasting for 3 to 5 hours in between na tubig lamang ang ginagawa. At during that time na nagpa-fasting, wala tayong gagawin kundi maglaro, tumakbo, mag-exercise, 'di ba? So, ibang activities na. So, kung i-review natin ng 24 hours natin, gusto nating makontento bilang magulang that we were a good boss of what, when, where, and that we did the 5210 plus 9 strategy. So, moving forward, when we take charge of that, we're confident that the weight loss will happen in a stress-free way.
Thank you, Dr. Karen. So let's move to another question from Sir Justin. Good morning, mga doctors. Thank you for this informative session. How can one individual battle the problem of stress eating? As I know many individuals that face stress eating, is there a technique or a way po to address stress eating?
Actually, dito pumapasok yung healthy eating habits, no? So meron tayong tinatawag na mindful eating. So actually dapat nauumpisahan yan simula bata pa, no? Kasi how you feed a child will affect yung relationship niya with food. So dapat bata pa lang, yun nga, no? Susundin yung division of responsibility kasi hindi natin pipilitin kasi later on it might trigger nga yung habit of stress eating. Ngayon kung parang apparently parang stress eater na, so siguro slowly it is important na medyo what do you call this? You are already aware about it. Tapos tanggalin siguro muna the things that trigger your stress, like kunyari yung laptop ba or school work or office work, and then talagang mag-concentrate muna sa kinakain. Namnamin yung flavors and the textures that you are actually eating. And that might help mitigate, no? And then mitigate the stress eating. At the same time, yun nga, no? Yung napag-usapan kanina, na part sa sleep hygiene during daytime, mag-physical activity, and then pwedeng mag-meditate then. So there.
Dr. Rina, I like what you said about mindfulness, no? So for stress eating, mindfulness is helpful. So mindfulness for two things. Mindfulness during eating, kinwento ni Doc Rina yan na you eat only on time, And then while you're eating, mindfully enjoy it. Ibig
Ah,
sabihin, nakikita mo, use your senses, nakikita mo, inaamoy mo, ninanamnam mo.
mm.
And mindfulness, the basis of that is self-kindness. So you can also use mindfulness during that time when you're stressed. So when you're stressed, be kind to yourself, 'di ba? We have to be kind to ourselves when we're stressed. Then we decide, I'm stressed, I want to be kind to myself. What is my choice to be kind to myself? So, ibig sabihin, hanap tayo ng iba pang alternative. Minsan chewing gum, no? Minsan fidget toy or music. Find alternatives knowing that it's not the time to eat at that time. So, stressful eating makes you eat more meals kasi, 'di ba? Untimed snacking. So, that's what makes us gain weight when we do untimed snacking. So, I like it that Dr. Rina mentioned mindfulness. Another webinar na naman yan. But mindfulness during eating and mindfulness during stress helps.
Agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. No, parang madami tayong questions pero we are down actually to one last question na lang po kasi we're pressed with time. Pero I would like to thank the participants who sent in their questions. Now for the last question, Doc, Rina and Doc Karen, how do we introduce variety to children's diet? Kasi some kids will prefer to only eat egg, chicken lang ang meat nila or hotdog lang. So how do we introduce variety?
I'll take it, Doc Karen. Mauna na ako. Sige.
Yes.
So actually, it all boils down to ano ulit, no? Yung authoritative parenting. So we need to model, introduce to these kids a variety of different foods. Eating the food item is not the only victory. So any form of engagement, no? Pumayag man lang yung bata na ang pagkain na bago ay nasa mesa, okay na yon. And then eventually,
Accept. But our goal is to every day show up being confident parents who are the bosses of what, when, where. And let's journey patiently. At the end, for sure, you'll be surprised with the results.
Okay, thank you. Now, that's all the time we have. Ang daming information pero limited tayo ng time. So, kulang yung time natin. Pero we've learned a lot also, no? Ano yan? Any parting words po na lang from you, Dr. Karen and Dr. Rina for our audience?
So Kathy, I'm happy to be here. And I know as pediatricians, this problem is very common. So we're happy to pass on this information, especially on how division of responsibility and authoritative parenting can help us in a stress-free way employ the 5210 plus 9 way to losing weight. So good luck to everybody and may you have a stress-free and sexy way to weight loss.
Yan. How about Doc Karen, any last words to our audiences?
sige. So thank you to everyone, no, for attending. We all know that nutrition is the underpinning of life itself, and therefore proper nutrition is very important, no? So quantity and quality mahalaga po parehas. And then yeah, let's strive to be healthy. So sundin na natin yung 5210 plus 9 na campaign.
Yan, thank you. Very well said, Dr. Karen and Dr. Rina. So truly, this discussion has been a great start to our morning. And to all of you watching this morning, and to Dr. Karen and Dr. Rina, until our next
Coffee
Coffee
and
Coffee
and
conversation.
Conversations.
conversations.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you again to our resource speakers. I truly enjoyed our coffee and conversation this morning. For our participants, thank you for joining us. For your certificate, you may scan the QR code or click the link in the chat box, and I will return to this slide in a while. For inquiries about us and other pediatricians and specialists at the Medical City, please contact the Institute of Pediatrics with this number. And just a reminder to all our parents, there are many vaccine-preventable diseases. Different infectious diseases are present all year round. So visit your pediatrician and get your children's vaccines updated. And I would like to invite you to our upcoming webinars. We have one on March 16, 2024. This is a Saturday. So the Medical City Center for Developmental Pediatrics will have a paid webinar, which is part of their webinar series. The class is titled Managing Behavior in the School Setting. Learn how to manage common behavior issues in children in the school setting from our developmental pediatrician, Dr. Iris Echaus, and our special education teacher, Ms. Marie Eileen Reyes. To register, you may scan the QR code. And on March 23, Saturday at 9 a.m., the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics Coffee and Conversations. Wait, let's wait for the next slide. So on March 23, we have another webinar po. Okay. May we have the next slide? Yan. Okay, thank you. So on March 23, we'll have another webinar. So the TMC Institute of Pediatrics Coffee and Conversations will have its next free webinar offering titled The Best Fit, Choosing the Right School for Your Child. So learn from our two developmental pediatricians, Dr. Aisel Dipico and Dr. Patricia C. So to register for free, you may scan the QR code. Again, thank you for spending your morning with us today for the Institute of Pediatrics Learning Academy's Coffee and Conversations. I leave you with a link to the certificate. This link will be open only until 5 p.m. today. So see you in our next webinar. Again, I'm Dr. Catherine De Leon for Coffee and Conversations of the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics, your partner in pediatric healthcare. Good morning, everyone.